and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you. So this is actually the final apartment build for my giant apartment complex that I've been working on. So sadly that will be coming to an end, but it was so much fun to make and I'm so excited to have it done for you. And the full furnished apartment complex is already up on the Sims 4 gallery. So if you'd like to download it in its entirety, please feel free to do so. And it comes in at about 370,000 simoleons, which is a lot of simoleons, but at the same time, I just built like a deluxe family home that I know costed over 100,000 simoleons, and this is 6 different families. Of course, that's like a big home and has like expensive things and everything, but still, it just kind of seems crazy. Apparently, I like really expensive builds. But this apartment is actually for a plant lover sim, and so I actually turned that whole back part of the apartment, the front part of the apartment, into like a greenhouse. So it literally is just gonna be full of plants, and I felt like this sim, like their whole goal was so that like you could see that room from like almost everywhere in the apartment. So I actually went and grabbed some plants from the gallery. So in case you're unaware, what you can do, like people have created rooms on the gallery that are full of like already grown plants. So like if you want to just immediately start, or you're furnishing, or you don't want to deal with having to find seeds and plant them and all that kind of stuff, you can just download that off the gallery and pop those into your build and then get rid of the room. So that's what I did. I just grabbed a couple of plants because I wanted a few of them in there, but I ended up using a lot of this stuff from the plant kit that we got a little while ago. I never did make like a plant build, so this one is for that. So I actually opted to have like the bedroom space kind of right here near this balcony, and I end up actually kind of walling it off a little bit, but I end up having like a window kind of space that looks into what will be the living room, because I thought this sim would want to be able to see their greenhouse from everywhere, including their bedroom space. So it is kind of like a studio in that sense, that it's not completely walled off, but there is some privacy there in the bedroom. And then the living room will be directly adjacent to that greenhouse. So like there's literally like a giant couch you can see directly in there. Like this sim is very proud of all of their plants that they have and they've been taking care of. And so when I started, I wasn't sure what I wanted like the color palette to be, but it ended up that this is a very colorful build. I'm actually in love with this window treatment that I did here, combining some of those curtains, but I only did it there because that's like the dining room and just added a little bit of pizzazz. But I ended up putting the kitchen right here when you walk in to this apartment, and I think it worked out really well, and I really liked the yellow, and I think it brought in the yellow from the bed that I decided to put in the bedroom. And I chose that bed because it had like those organic wooden twig headboard thing going on, which I thought this sim would like. So I just ended up pulling in a bunch of color here actually, which made me very excited because I love color. Contrary to some of the black and white builds I've been doing lately, I really do enjoy color, even in like my personal life. If you've seen any of my videos with face cam, the wall behind me is actually covered in like art that is like rainbow. It is all colorful. But anyways, I just wanted to add a little bit of yellow in here, and then brought in some of that blue and pink. And then I'm actually really happy also with the dining space. We end up using, there was a really recent Sims delivery, so they actually gave us this like table. So I actually used it because I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then I was like, where does this come from? And then anyways, I remembered it was a delivery that we just got. So thank you, The Sims, for new stuff. I'm always excited to get new items in the game. And then I used that cute little shelving unit that I actually have not used very many times. I feel like I always forget that it exists, but I thought it looked really adorable in this build, so I was sure to include that. And then most of the plants are in the greenhouse. There's some around, and actually I used that like overhead lamp with that plant on it like everywhere because I felt like that kind of made sense. And then actually finding a rug that fit there took me a minute. I ended up actually pausing the recording and looking through this stuff. I had to do the same thing when we got to the living room space. And the tile that we actually used in the bathroom on the floor, I don't think I've ever used before because it is so busy and loud. But for this, I don't know. I just felt like it was right because it kind of had that floral pattern for this plant sim. I thought that would work really nicely. And again, some of those plants didn't fit well over there in the dining room because of the weird move objects glitch that is happening in this apartment complex. It may be because there's just so much stuff on this lot. I'm not really sure. So there's not quite as much clutter as I usually have, but that's totally all right. So this is me trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do to be able to see through. And then I ultimately opted to just do like a half wall, and then I ended up putting some like molding across the top of it so that you could like see through it, but you still have some of that privacy. And I figured since it's like probably one sim in here anyways, you could scoot the bed over and have two sims. I know that they're supposed to be able to like roll over to the other side of the bed, but I hear mixed reports on whether or not that actually works. And I haven't actually tried it myself, so I'm not really sure if you could have two sims in the bed the way it is, but you could easily scoot it over if you wanted to. And then I ended up not doing, like I said, a lot of clutter, and there's a lot of open space there in the middle, which I actually quite like in this build. I think it looked really nice and open and airy for this like plant sim. And, you know, I included a lot of like planter boxes outside of this apartment for like skill building for the sims that live here. So maybe like this sim like took over those and like they're the only one that actually plants anything outside maybe. I don't know. Just thinking about like what I've included in this apartment complex and the sims that live here. And then I brought in the yellow cabinetry again for the bathroom, and then I thought it would just be really nice. I ended up putting a window in the bathroom so like the sim could like take a bath and actually see their gorgeous greenhouse and have that really nice view. Like I said, that is like their pride and joy. They want everybody to be able to see it, even if they're using the bathroom in their apartment. They want them to be able to see that what's going on out there. So I thought that was really awesome, and I walled it off on the back there because I wanted it to have like a bunch of window space and a lot of light coming in, so it just took up the whole back side of this apartment. But I ended up just kind of adding a little bit of clutter here and there, not a ton. And interestingly enough, that corner piece of the counter, you can put stuff in, and I was like, what? Because like that tissue box disappeared, and it's funny because there's some plates in it, but you know what? We're just gonna go with it, and that's what this bathroom is gonna look like. And I was really excited because I always forget that those room dividers exist in the game, but I saw it and I was like, this would be perfect to help again give that bedroom space a little more privacy from the rest of the apartment. And I did originally want to use a pink couch here, but then I felt like it was just a lot of pink, so I do change that over to yellow. And I did have a hard time with the rug here. I did pause the recording and went through a lot more to try to figure out exactly what I wanted in this space. And this is a huge couch and living space considering there's maybe only one sim here, but you know what? This is just, you know, the way it is for this sim. They just wanted a lot of entertaining space, and I actually rearranged it so that I could actually use that end table that came with the plant kit that had a bunch of plants in it. And then I ended up using actually the Decor to the Max like framing that they included by the TV, and put in some like floral wallpaper to be like some like custom art, which I thought worked out really nicely. I've always talked about doing it, but I haven't done it yet, so I thought now would be a perfect opportunity since we had that gorgeous flower wallpaper, and we could frame it in that way. And since it was bugging me, the wallpaper stuck out a little bit from the frame because it was around the corner, I put a column there to cover that up. I would put more columns in this build because I think it's nice for room separation, but again, the move objects is being really weird with this build, so I couldn't really do that without having to rearrange a bunch of stuff. And for the two balconies, I kept those also really simple. I didn't put a lot of stuff out there. The one that's actually attached to the greenhouse, we end up having that like florist bench out there for flower arranging, so your sim can like practice that if that's what they want to do and make money, which I think you can make decent money with that, especially if you have that like selling table and you have like good flowers. I think you can actually make a living off of that. So maybe that's what this person does for a living. And they're actually gorgeous. I pulled one out of Debug and put it on the table so that there's actually one already there. So it looks really cute and nice already. Like pulling in some of those already like fully grown plants, and then just kept it like a very simple seating area out here, and just, you know, nothing too cluttered. And again, I figured that front space is more of like a guest space for this apartment. And then just pulling out every plant thing there is, like, I feel like, in the game, and seeing if I wanted to put that in the greenhouse. And there I was just moving some stuff around, but I kind of left it as is. And then I just put along that far wall like 2 of those big planter hanging things. I don't know what the technical term is for it because I'm not a plant person. I cannot keep one alive to save my life, not even like a cactus. It's very sad. But I end up using a bunch of the stuff that came in that kit and the stuff that was already in the game, like stuff that came in seasons. And then those things came from Eco Lifestyle, the ones that like are up against the wall. But I just pulled out also a little bit of the clutter that goes with being a florist, and then I thought maybe a wreath, maybe they also made that and put it up on the wall. So I thought that looked really nice. And then basically at this point, I'm just kind of arranging everything. And I did put the sprinkler system on the wall there that is used for like fires, but I was thinking that might be cool as like an actual sprinkler system or watering system for their greenhouse. So now the whole apartment complex has a sprinkler system, but it's just located in this Sims apartment. But I thought that was really nice. Each of the apartments has like a fire alarm in it, so it should trigger, I assume. But there may be something about proximity that box has to be to all the other fire alarms. I'm not really sure, but anyways, so I'm just kind of finishing up this greenhouse here and just basically adding plants everywhere, all of the clutter, all of the pieces, even some hanging plants in the window I thought were a really nice touch that we're going to be adding here in a minute. And this adorable plant that actually like is like an animal on the bottom, like I think one of them's a pig and a cow and all kinds of other animals. But we are reaching the end of this build, so I've got some awesome screenshots for you coming. And thank you for sticking around and hanging out with me. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more like it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.